Okay, we are almost done with this school year. That feels kind of good, doesn't it? And so at this point now, we have this one final assignment. Okay? And as we're doing this, here's what you're going to do. You're going to include the tables that you filled in on the create the budget assignment. So you've already got that done. You're just going to put that in this final assignment right at the top, because we're going to refer to those numbers that you already determined. Then you're going to find an apartment and get average utility costs. Okay? After that, you're going to figure out the cost for internet service. Then you're going to find cost of cell phone service. Then you're going to find a car. You're going to get a loan rate and payments and average maintenance costs. And then once you have taken care of those things, you're going to summarize how each of those relates to your budget. Is it over or under? And then reflect upon how is it going to impact what will happen with your budget and what you could do with some of that money. Okay? So let's get started. Again, first off, here are those tables. You're going to put those into the document. And again, you already did this. These are the tables from the create the budget assignment. You've already got this done. You merely need to copy and paste this information. Again, I use an annual salary of $48,000. You had a different number. But you already have finished this. Put this on your document. Next, we're going to start hunting for an apartment and find out what the utilities costs are. So you're going to start looking. I chose to use Zillow. I talked about that previously. And as I'm going through, I'm looking for specific things about this. Number one, obviously, I want to know what the price tag is. But in addition, I want to know the size of this place. It's got 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and it's 1,000 square feet. That's a pretty good size apartment. Okay, so there's a starting point. However, I still need to gather more information about this apartment. So I'm looking down, I find some more photos on Zillow. It's a good site. And then I discover some other things. Tenant pays all the utilities. So if I'm moving in, I got to pay the utilities. It also tells me I have to pay a security deposit of 1 month's rent. And that it tells me up front, no dogs, no cats, no birds, and no smoking. And obviously when they put in really, they mean business. Okay? So you're going to have to be aware of that as you're hunting for a place like this. And the nice part is they got somebody who's going to take care of the snow off of the driveways and then the lawn care. So you don't have to think about that. Now, what other tidbits do they have? This again is nice about the Zillow site. It shares this stuff. Parking. It's off street, which is great. So there's a parking area, and in fact it says it's got a detached garage. So I'm going to assume that we have some garage space. There's laundry on site, and it's shared between the folks in that who are renting space in that building. And then again, it gives me that reminder that the deposit is 1 month's rent, and there is no other fee then, obviously, because it's just that 1 month's rent. So there, we got information about that living space. Now let's go to the utilities. Okay, I provided you the site. Remember, we hover on this and it gives us these numbers, and so our focus is going to be right here on the electricity and the gas, and then the sewer and water, because we have to pay those utilities. And so what I want to do is just figure out, well, how much is that per month? And I total those up, and I get $211 per month I'm going to spend on utilities. So at this point, I'm going to organize the information that I've got. From my answers in the 25 create the budget assignment, I've already determined that my monthly budget for housing, and I included utilities, was $1,200. I found the rent was $900. I determined the utilities cost, it's $211, and so I total that up, and that's $1,111, which means I am $89 under budget for my housing and utilities. That's a great start. Okay. Now I'm going to look at the internet service, and again I provide you with some websites so that you can go do some hunting for internet service in your area. And I looked at this and I found the spectrum info. It says $49.99 a month, and then it gives me this information. No internet data caps, which is great, and there's no contract. The modem is free, and I also get some antivirus security, which is nice. But then I want to kind of make sure that I'm watching carefully about this kind of stuff, and it says that $49.99 is for 12 months, and then it says standard rates apply after year 1. So understand that 12 months later suddenly that number is going to jump, so I need to make sure I'm aware of that. It says no charge for the modem or other equipment, and then there are some fees and taxes and surcharges that may apply. Now, I don't know how much that is, so I'm going to approximate that it's going to be $15 a month. And they wouldn't be able to give you specifically that information right up front either, because of where you're located. They're not 100% sure. So now, let's organize that information. In my budget, to create the budget assignment, I set aside $100 for internet. I saw that the monthly cost, at least for the 12 months, is $49.99, and I approximated that the fees and taxes are going to be $15. So that gives me a total of $64.99 per month. Nice, that puts me another $35.01 underneath the budget. That's a good thing. So I'm 2 for 2 as far as being under the budget, so that's great. Now we got to hunt for cell phone service. I've got 5 lines that I need to have on here, so as I use that whistle outside, I'm making sure that I provide that information. And so I found this to be a good deal. And so I looked at that and I said that's $100 a month. Okay, but now I want to look at this a little more closely. So I'm looking at this right here, and it says unlimited basic plan with auto pay. So that means I got to set up an auto pay to get this $20 a month off the 3rd, 4th, and 5th line. So I'm saving $60 per month by using auto pay, but I understand that that's going to disappear in about a year. Okay, so I recognize that that's going to change in about a year. Well, here's a plus. I get that Hulu subscription for free, so that's kind of nice. Okay, Mexico and Canada, if I'm going there, I still have a good deal. So I've got some nice perks in this, and then I again just refer. I've got unlimited national talk and text, all right, and unlimited data, so that's good. And again, that reminder that that $20 per line I'm saving until the end of April next year, and it includes the phone cost. So if I'm buying a phone on time through Sprint, that's an extra chunk of money that I'm going to pay each month. However, I'm bringing my own phones. I always do. But then I also need to approximate the taxes and fees, and I'm figuring that's going to be about $20. Okay? And so now let's organize this information. I set aside $200 a month in my create the budget assignment for cell phone service. I found that plan for $100 a month for the 5 lines. I also said it's about $20 I'm figuring for the fees and taxes. And so I've got $120 total for the monthly service, which means I'm $80 under budget. So I'm 3 for 3. I'm under budget 3 times. So that's a bonus. That's a bonus. So now we're done with that. Here we go. Now we're hunting for a car. So we're going to go find a car. So I checked on Craigslist, and I found this TDI Sport Wagon, and there's the price tag. But I need more information than that. Now there are lots of pictures that we can go through and look to see, but I want more information than that. So I keep reading down through that ad on Craigslist, and I see again it's a 2013 Jetta. It's got 129,000 miles, which is not that bad for the diesel. And it's got a clean title. I want to make sure that it hasn't, been salvaged. It hasn't been wrecked so bad that it's got a salvage or a rebuilt title on it. Okay. But then I also need to read through and just see what other things it's got. Well, it's got the Bluetooth, it's got the multi-CD player, it's got XM radio, it's got heated seats, which are great in a Volkswagen. This is nice right here. Timing belt and water pump maintenance complete with paperwork and emissions recalls done, meaning that some of that work that's fairly expensive, the timing belt and water pump maintenance is fairly expensive work, that's all taken care of. So I don't have to worry about that. So it's ready to go. It's never been smoked in, which is great. No pets, so we have no fur. It gets good mileage because it's a diesel, so it's nice to have that information. So it sounds like a good vehicle. At that point now, because I'm going to get a loan, I need to go hunt down how much is it going to cost me. So I went to my Fox Communities Credit Union website to find what the rates are. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I don't see anything till I look down here and it says from 2012 to 2014. Okay, I fall into that category because that Jetta is a 2013. It says I'm going to take the above rate and add 1% to it for a loan of up to 48 months. So there's that percentage right there, so that I know that my interest rate from Fox Communities Credit Union is going to be 4.49%. Okay? So now I'm going to go to that website that is provided for you in regard to that loan calculator. And what's the information I'm putting in? Well, what's the price tag of the vehicle? Now I might have negotiated to get that down. In fact, I would have. But there was the price that was listed. I need to know the sales tax. Well, that's what it is where I live. It's 5.5%, so I'm going to put that in. I needed to look up the interest rate. So here's what I just found from that Fox Community Credit Union website, 4.49%. And then it said on that site that that was up to 48 months, so I'm just going to leave it alone at 48 months. I could change that, but I would have to be under 48 based on the information provided from Fox Communities Credit Union. And so when I put that information in, it now gives me this loan payment amount. Is $198 per month that I'm going to pay for my car loan. So I've got that number now. Perfect. Now what I want to do is go to the next website, which is provided in regard to maintenance costs. And I just scroll down through that list of 30 and I find Volkswagen. There it is. And that's $7,800, but keep in mind that that's for 10 years. Okay? I need to figure out how much per month. Well, I take that 10-year amount and divide it by 10, so it's $780 per year, and then I have to take that amount and divide it by 12, so I've got $65 per month that I figure is going to be maintenance. Okay, so I've got those numbers to go with my car loan amount. And so now let's organize the information, and I set aside transportation. I said I'm going to put aside $200. Well, geez, I've spent almost all of that on the loan payment right up front. So there's a $198 for the loan payment, $65 we determined for the monthly maintenance costs, and I approximate that it's going to be about $50 a month that I'm going to spend on gas. And so I get a total of $313, which means I am $113 over budget on that one. So I was going on a good streak there. I was under budget on 3, but now I'm over budget on this one. Okay. Well, at this point now we're going to just summarize what has happened. Okay. So my housing, with the utilities included, I was 89 under budget. My internet service, I was 3501 under budget, at least for this year. For my cell phone service, I was $80 under budget, again, at least for this year. And so I'm going to look at those three together, and what did I determine? That so far I was $204.01 under budget. That's not bad. Now I got that car and transportation, and I was $113 over budget in that section. So now let's reflect upon that information right there. And so I made note. I was $204 under budget on those. What does that mean? It means that I had some money to be able to cover that extra for the transportation based on being under budget there. And even after taking care of that transportation amount, I still had $91.01 that I was under my budget. And so if I left everything else alone, then I could just utilize that money. And so for example, maybe I put it into my emergency fund. I had set aside $300 per month for the emergency fund, but now I have nearly $400 to go into that account, which is nice. And then I thought, you know what, if I had the cash sitting around, then I could have just paid cash for the vehicle, which meant I would be $85 under budget in that department because I wouldn't have to pay that extra $198. And then I'd have that extra money again now to split up. Maybe I'm going to put that into savings, maybe it's personal, maybe it's going to be miscellaneous. So I'm just reviewing what has happened based on the information that I found and how I could potentially use that money to make adjustments in my budget. And also that idea that, you know, what if I paid cash for the vehicle? Then that's one less thing. That $198 is not in the budget anymore. I don't have to think about that. And so once I get to here, that's it. I'm done. I looked it over, I organized, I made some ideas and shared some thoughts about what I would do a little bit differently with the budget based upon what I've learned. And now if you go through this and you're working on this and you still have some questions, please get yourself to a work session. Come on in. I'll do my best to answer for you. All right? And be confident. You know how I get. Confident in you. You can do this. Do a great job.